We are a couple weeks away from Labor Day, and we have a clash of the Titans to close out the week in the CFL, but some intriguing matchups before then. Let's run through the CFL schedule this week. So the CFL is back as we are now past the halfway point of the season. Absolutely wild how fast this season is rolling on, but still, a lot of fun matchups, a lot of interesting games to be had as we approach Labor Day. Also, want to remind you that if you want more CFL content from Mawa, you can get that on 3 Down Nation. I do a best bets piece every week. That's up now. And also, I give my thoughts after every Rider game. So just letting you guys know there's more of me in the CFL to check out. Let's do our CFL previews here this week. It starts with Winnipeg taking on the Montreal Alouettes. Winnipeg has had some problems, and they do not look like the convincing dominant team that they looked like at the beginning part of the season. Injuries at quarterback have been a problem. Injuries at wide receiver really slowed this team down at various points, and I don't think the defense is as good as maybe they were counting on coming into this season. But that's not close to the problems that Montreal is having right now. They are 2 injuries away from running a raffle to see who is going to get the start at quarterback. It is going to be the person in section 115, row 9, seat R. That's where they are at right now. And I just don't think, while Winnipeg has the problems that they have, I can't imagine that it is going to be to a point where this Montreal team right now is going to be the one that is going to upend the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So I think while Winnipeg is a flawed football team, they ain't that flawed. I think the Bombers come away with a win coming up here on Thursday. Edmonton taking on Ottawa. Not going to give a prediction for this one because they are one of the best bets that I featured in 3 Down, so go check it out for my official prediction on this. But just giving you guys a couple of notes that I'm looking at here as that this is massive game for both of these teams as they try to stay somewhat relevant in the playoff hunt. I guess like for Ottawa, if we think Montreal is going to lose, a win here and all of a sudden they're within striking distance of the Alouettes and really kind of upending the apple cart there for this team. So I wonder like if that kind of adds a little bit too. But again, for Ottawa, I mean, a win here, they'd be, well, we'll see what happens with BC and with Winnipeg, but they'd be a couple of points back of at least a crossover spot into the CFL's East Division for the postseason. So a really big game, even though it shouldn't feel like that with 2 teams sitting at 3 wins right now. Just back on the Montreal side of this, AJ Druid in the Twitch chat, James Morgan, the 23rd starter since Calvillo retired. Doesn't surprise me. That might be since Davis Alexander got hurt this year. That has been a real problem keeping quarterbacks healthy there. And it sucks because I think Davis Alexander is the guy in Montreal. Like he's undefeated as a starter at 8-0. I think he is genuinely, legitimately franchise quarterback level guy, could win MOP someday. That is what I think of Davis Alexander. But you need to stay on the field for more than 2 games at a time to be able to get that. So that's the key for Montreal right now. It's going to be tough for them to get back to that. Back on the Edmonton-Ottawa side of it, Edmonton has improved. I was saying you just roll with Trey Ford and you figure it out. You just roll with Trey Ford and you try to figure it out. And they switched with Cody Fajardo 4 weeks ago, and all of a sudden they look like a decent football team now. So, okay, I will admit maybe I lost out on that one. But the one stat that I have in the piece this week for 3 Down, Fajardo has only 17 more pass attempts this year than Trey Ford. He has about 300 more passing yards. He's thrown fewer interceptions, and he has thrown more touchdowns than Trey Ford in that time. Like, it is just, everything is going better for them. Once that I didn't put in the best bets, on passes that are, I believe it's 20 yards or more downfield, Trey Ford was completing them at about a 38% clip. Cody Fajardo's completing them at a 60% clip. And those were ending up as interceptions with Trey Ford. They're ending up as touchdowns with Cody Fajardo. He is being much smarter about when he is just airing it out, what he is doing with the football, taking care of it a little bit more. This is still a team that is bottom in the league in time of possession, but they have it at least a little bit more, and that's allowing their defense to look at least a little better than what they have in the past. On the other side of this, for Ottawa, Dustin Crum probably going to get the start. Drew Brown unlikely to play this week. It has been so bad with Crum at quarterback. I am surprised they're going back there again. Like, I think he is fine, but I think him coming in relief against Winnipeg last week is maybe masking a few of the struggles that he has had. Before that game, and I guess even still including that game, his high for a game this season is 235 pass yards. 14 quarterbacks in the league have had more passing yards in a game than that cat has this season as their kind of high. With him at quarterback as the starter again, 3 games, they've averaged 17 points a game. It's just not a good offense when this guy is at the helm. And so, again, not going to give the pick, but you can probably see where I'm leaning going into that one on Friday night. AJ Druid again in the chat. Alexander is the guy we know. We know that he has to stay healthy. That's all. That completely agree. Like it has to be better. It has to be better than anything that we are seeing with him. But if he can just stay healthy, I do think there is genuinely a pretty special quarterback there that Montreal may have. The BC Lions taking on the Toronto Argonauts in a matchup coming up. I believe that's an early one on Saturday, which is weird because it's early and it's BC traveling. So it's like a noon body clock time for them as they play out at 3 o'clock in Toronto. Nathan Rourke is figuring it out. We talked about it in the power rankings and everything. This guy is looking like the best player in the CFL right now. Last 2 weeks, he's averaging 395 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. That is insane. He has been just unstoppable for this team. And the Argos defense is struggling mightily. They're the only team in the league that is allowing over 30 points a game this season on average. And the stat that just blew me away, I think it is 4 teams in the league have had their highest point total of the season against the Toronto Argonauts this season. Also, I'm fairly Edmonton, it was back-to-back teams got that. Edmonton broke that streak by just having their second highest point total of the season against the Argos, and Montreal is third, had their third best scoring day of the year against Toronto. This team is just handing out points to everybody. So while Arbuckle and this offense can step up, there's no outscoring Nathan Rourke in this matchup, I don't think. And then the last one, it's the top 2 teams in the league facing off at McMahon. I'm going to be in attendance for it. Can't wait. Going to be exciting. I don't know how this one's going to go. I think that it is a real battle. AJ Druid in the chat saying, give me the Stamps over the Riders. I do think, and maybe this is homerism and whatever, I do think the Riders have found another level since that game against the Stampeders, where Calgary being the one in 8-1. And look, Calgary's a very good football team. There is no question about that. I just feel like Saskatchewan has found another level on the offensive side. I think that they have found a real other gear on defense with what this defensive line has been able to do. It's been 8 quarters since they've allowed a touchdown, and they've scored about 70 points since then. This team is looking like a juggernaut again, and they are a very, very fascinating team and a very difficult team to beat. I think that they have another level than Calgary does right now. I think it's going to be a hell of a football game. I can't wait to see it coming up on Saturday, and I think we're going to learn a lot. This is a massive game. If Saskatchewan wins, that's a real nice cushion to have going into your Labor Day double dip against Winnipeg If Calgary wins, then they have 2 games coming up against Edmonton, who we just talked about is playing better, but not that much better. All of a sudden, that feels much more attainable. So this is just a gigantic swing game in the CFL's West Division. Can't wait for it coming up on Saturday night.